You're tuning in to Let's Talk, a podcast by Volunteer Sports Network, where we talk about what's happening in and around Volunteer High School. Let's Talk is brought to you by the support of Diamond Exchange of Kingsport, Farm Bureau of Mount Carmel, and Dairy Cup of Mount Carmel, and a collaboration project with VHS Broadcasting. Let's talk about athletic trainers today with Volunteer High School's athletic trainer, Chase Johnson. I'm Hannah Sawyer, and I'll be your host today while you tune in to Let's Talk by Volunteer Sports Network.
Looking for the best place to get a game day meal or snack? Visit Dairy Cup of Mount Carmel to let them do the cooking for you. They've got a large selection of homemade foods and the best ice cream, milkshakes, and hot fudge cakes. They are located at 110 East Main Street, Mount Carmel, Tennessee, right by the Mount Carmel City Hall. You can also call to place orders to go at 423-357-4181.
Thank you, Chase, for joining us today. We are happy to have you on and excited for the opportunity to get to know more about your role at Volunteer High School. You have one of the most important roles inside of the school's athletic department as the only athletic trainer for all the 20-plus sports. Today, I want us to talk about truly what all your job consists of, how you got into this position, and how it has changed your life. So let's get into it. So you are a Volunteer High School graduate, played football, graduated in 2014. You met your now wife and partner of 10 years here, and you live in the community. You plan to raise your new baby in the community when she arrives in December. What does it mean to you to be able to be here, giving back to the school where it kind of started it all for you?
It means a lot to me, actually. Like I said, being here for 4 years and playing and everything, then being able to come back and kind of give back is pretty cool experience. 'Cause not a lot of people get to do that or want to do that. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Do you think that you ever pictured when you finished school as an athletic trainer that you were going to wind up back in high school again?
Not really. After I graduated and stuff, and I was looking to maybe go and get my master's degree, kind of get a GA position and kind of looking, and I really wasn't looking to come back to high school, but, things, fell into place and wound up back here.
Speaking of school, let's talk a little bit about that. What was the process like for you? You said you spent 5 years at LMU.
I did.
What, if somebody is listening to this and think they're remotely interested in becoming an athletic trainer, what's that process going to look like for them, and what's the experience going to look like with some things probably being different?
If someone wants to be an athletic trainer now, they gotta have their 4-year undergrad. So whatever they want to do, their undergrad, preferably something related to medical field, and then 3 years of grad school, master's. Go and get their master's degree, because athletic training now is a entry-level master's degree. When I went, it was just a bachelor's degree, so just a 4-year degree.
So if you would have done the GA position, which is just a graduate assistant, then would that have been the same thing as what it is now, or would that just been like extra school for you just to prepare?
It'd have been little extra school, so I could have got, numerous of different things related to athletic training. Probably that's what I would have went into, but no, my undergrad was athletic training, so I graduated Bachelor of Science in Athletic Training, and then if I'd went on and got my master's degree, I would have, whatever I decided to choose in, it could have been anything. But now it's got to be...
You're required to have the both ones.
Yeah.
So when you were in school, everybody's got to have their Common Core classes, right? Your math, English, everything that most kids are thankful enough probably to have dual enrollment now, because dual enrollment had just started when I was in high school, and it was a navigating process, but you're done with Common Core by the time you get in college. But what were those classes like? What was the training like? Did you have a lot of hands-on? Was there a lot of classroom? Or because when I think of athletic training, I think of like med school type stuff, and I'm sure it's different, but also probably, I guess maybe a mix of like paramedic school and med school. Maybe, I don't know.
At first, it's really not a lot of hands-on. It's more classwork, observation, until you kind of get your what did they call that? Proficiencies.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they called it. Once you're preceptor, once they signed off on certain things, like we had to be proficient in taping ankles. They had to watch us tape it, and we had to talk through it.
It's like your clinicals, I guess, would be.
Yeah. So once they signed off on it, then we could go do it without anyone watching, because then we were obviously proficient in it. And but the first part, freshman year and stuff, we really didn't get to do a whole lot. Just got to observe a lot. Starting year 2, sophomore year, which is really the first year into the AT program, got to be a little more hands-on. Got to be in the clinic a little bit more. Still, obviously, in the classroom a lot. Got to be more out there with your teams that you got assigned. And then the more you kept going, the more you were able to, I guess, be a little more free to do kind stuff.
Like little, what's the word I'm looking for? Like little minions doing a lot of work under a lot of observation.
Mm-hmm.
When you think back through that experience that you had and what it was like for you, is it something you would go back and do again? Is it something that you were you expecting to go to school to become an athletic trainer? And if you wasn't, would you rather go back and do what you were planning to do, or are you happy with where you're at? I mean, you're 6 years in now?
6 years
in.
So
I feel like you can kind of speak on whether or not you, I guess, regret that decision.
I don't regret it. I would definitely go back and do it again. In high school, we had a career path that we had to choose coming in freshman year when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose the engineering, so it was total opposite compared to the athletic training. But injuries during football and all that kind of turned that for me.
Mm-hmm.
Just having the ability to maybe relate to somebody who's going through different stuff is really one of the main reasons why I chose athletic training.
Yeah. Well, we are going to take a short commercial break, and then when we come back, I want to know what a day-to-day in the life is like for Chase Johnson.
Choosing jewelry is a personal decision, and people often have different needs and taste. At Diamond Exchange of Kingsport, we believe in offering superior quality, value, and service with jewelry from Gabriel & Company, Effie, Pandora, Citizen Watch, and more. Diamond Exchange is your greatest resource for your next jewelry purchase. It's about more than just trust. It's about being a community and a family. Visit us at Diamond Exchange of Kingsport, 1901 Fort Henry Drive in Kingsport.
All right, we are back. So it's time to learn what a day in the life is like with Chase Johnson. I think when everybody thinks about athletic training, we all understand that you watch them in the NFL games, or you watch them in high school games or whatever, and you see the things that they do have to do. Wrapping ankles, stretching, helping, ice, or if they do get injured on the field, you're checking them out, seeing what they can and can't do. Are we sending them on an ambulance? Are we not? There's general things like that. But what does this job actually consist of? What is what you're doing in the days that you get to school, on game days, on not game days? Is there administrative work? What all is the role that you're responsible for?
Well, before all that starts, obviously all the athletes have to get their physicals.
Mm-hmm.
So got to get the physicals scheduled and done, and got to look through them and file them appropriately. And then once I get all the physical paperwork in, then obviously they're cleared to practice and stuff. If someone does go down, I'm the one that also files the insurance claim.
So do you have to do that? It's not like administrative people that have to do that. That's you.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh,
I do it.
I've actually never known who done that, but I just didn't think it would. That makes sense, I guess. But that needs its own education.
Yes.
Did you have to have a class about that? I have to know.
No.
Like insurance file. Oh, so you're just winging it.
Yeah.
When you started doing it. Oh, that's.
Yeah, it's all online. It's really nothing that strenuous, but it takes about 10 minutes.
What insurance company is that? Because I need that one. Okay, anyways. So you're filing the insurance. What else are we having to do?
As far as paperwork goes, that's pretty much it. Once physicals are in, and then if someone does get hurt, and got to make sure their insurance is filed through the school, so that way that can be taken care of, and then there's other stuff. Just make sure everyone's healthy and taped and stuff if they need to be taped for like practice and stuff throughout the week, and on game days, just be there and just be ready in case.
Hopefully you're not busy during game days. Ain't that the goal, right?
Yeah.
You're getting your water, you're getting your, the ice buckets, or if it's football, the different things like that. But hopefully it's just.
Yeah, a boring day for me is a good day. The more that I got to work, the worse off than the other people are.
I think a lot of people got to see that when it was DeMar Hamlin when he was playing the Bills a game against the Bengals. What was that? That was not last season, but the season before last. And he came out, I believe it was him that came out and spoke about after he was better and he was healing and stuff. And he was talking about that some of the first people that was treating him was his trainers. Like a lot of people are now, you see, especially in the professional level, they're acknowledging what the trainers do. And I think when you are just in high school or in a lower level, you don't realize, you're not seeing how much goes into that and what all is happening. And especially at a school like what we have, where there's some days where there's 4 games at one time. You've got volleyball in the gym. If it's spring, you've got men's volleyball in the gym, baseball at the top of the hill, softball halfway down, and you could have soccer on the football field, and there's 4 of them in one chase. And it can't make that part easier. So when it is games like that, what do you do to try to manage that? Are you on a routine with these coaches? Is there an understanding that you have? What do you do to kind of navigate those struggles of a lot going on?
Me and the coaches, we pretty much know how each of us work and handle things. Something like that happens, and of course it's happened with 4 different sports happening at one time. What I try to do, I try to stay in the middle. So if something like that, I'll be at the softball field. I'm in the middle between baseball and soccer, or baseball and soccer, and then just right down the hill to volleyball. So I mean, and then then all the coaches, we try to get all the coaches properly trained in CPR, AED. Some of them are, most of them are. Some of them we're still working on. That way, if I am at a different location, they can start the correct procedures and stuff to help until I get there, or if EMS, if they can get there before me, which chances are that's probably not going to happen. I'm obviously going to probably be
That
there.
golf cart moves. The
It
golf
does.
cart moves fast. It's
It
a little
does.
scary, honestly. But I think, too, it's important, and I'm going to give a disclaimer that if somebody wants to skip through, if this is going to be a hard conversation for them, that's not going to hurt our feelings at all. But I think an important thing to talk about is not only the physical part of what you manage with these athletes, but the mental part as well. Mental health is something that is very serious in every situation, but is also especially serious in athletes. And I think more people are also starting to see that as well. Social media, broadcasting, all those things have brought a lot more attention to these athletes. And some of them, 4 years ago, Simone Biles was having to drop out of the Olympics because she was having to take care of herself and prioritize her mental health. And then now she is able to compete and make history and has multiple gold medals and routines named after her. But yeah, she's a Olympic competitor, but that's not only the kind of people who's dealing with those kind of issues. These high schoolers they're teenagers for one, which is a huge thing to navigate. They are in school, doing homework, managing classes. Some of them are AP classes. We have some of the best student athletes, I think, because they're all managing 3.5 GPAs or above for the most part, or they're performing well on the ACTs or their EOCs. So they're managing the school side of things. They're trying to maintain friendships. Nobody knows what anybody else's home life is like, whether it's good, bad, or it's something that may influence them regularly. Then you add on if they're only playing one sport or multiple sports, because most of our athletes, I do think, play at least 2 sports throughout the year in a general sense. I'd say about half of them at least play more than one sport.
Majority of them, yeah.
And that can be hard on them. I do think that most of our athletes take care of themselves in that way. But what is your role when it comes to that mental well-being? And what do you do to help them navigate through that and take care of them in those situations?
Obviously, if you're mentally not into it, then chances of you getting injured increase because lack of a better term, you're just going through the motions.
Mm-hmm.
You're really not paying much attention. Because obviously you're focused on whatever
Mm-hmm.
is going on. I like to be that person there for them. If
Mm-hmm.
they need to come talk, come talk. If you need to, scream, cry, whatever the case may be, just to get that emotion out, just to clear yourself. I've tried over the last 5 years, going into my 6th year, trying to be in that person for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of being that safe space for anyone that needs to let off steam or what have you. Just kind of let them just relax a little bit. And if they need to take a day from sport, I'll tell them, all right, take a day. But like I said, I try to be that safe space for them to come and talk. Just try and listen, because sometimes listening is the best thing that some of these kids need. Just they may not have that person at home, or some of them may not feel that they've got that person here just
Mm-hmm.
to listen to them. So I try my best to be that for everyone.
Do you think that, how do I put, do you think that if they don't, this is probably a good time to explain to those who's listening, whether it's a parent or a community member or somebody who has a student athlete, or if it's a student athlete that we have listening themselves, what is the things that they can do be doing to prioritize their mental health, or to look out for the signs and making sure that they are not getting to a situation where they are putting themselves at more risk or danger?
I mean, something like that, if you're thinking more of other things than what you're doing, if something's happening at home and you're focused on that, then that's where all your attention needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like I said, high school students, some of them, they go through more than they need to.
I think they go through a lot more than people realize too. I mean, we were all in high school once, but I think it's harder now than what it was when we were in high school. There's a lot.
Yeah, like I said, if you're just really just whatever you're focusing on, like I said, if it's home life, it's school, really just take kind of a step back and just kind of like focus on that section for a little bit till you can kind of feel like you can get it under control, and then kind of step back into everything else. I think is more beneficial than anything. Just whatever's bothering you, whatever is maybe hindering you from performing at whatever is you're going through. Just kind of take a step back a minute, and kind of take a breath from it. Kind of take a breath, just kind of focus on that for a little bit. Kind of let that get under control a little bit, then maybe kind of slowly get back into everything that you were doing.
I get that. I think it's there's not as much of a stigma around it as there was even when I was in school, but I think it's so important for these young adults to realize that it is okay to take a day. It's not going to be the end of the world if you do have to miss a practice, or if you do have to miss a game. Yes, I know it is stressful when you're thinking, especially if they're pursuing college routes or trying to prepare for the next, what might be whatever they consider to be their next level, but ultimately taking care of themselves is the first priority, because without taking care of themselves, they can do nothing. And I would also like to go ahead and use this as an opportunity to point out that if you are listening to this, whether you have a student athlete or you are a student athlete, that there is a bunch of people that I know in this school, whether it's your coach or Chase or myself or a parent or Dr. Sturgill or another administrator. I think that they should all have that. I know we have Frontier Health counselors, we have wonderful guidance counselors, that if you come to them and you say, hey, I just need a minute, or hey, I need to figure out how to do this, there is people here that will help you do that. And it don't have to be the same. You might not feel comfortable going to a full-on therapist, or that might not be in the options for you. Sometimes insurance plays a part in everything, and I want people to know who's listening to that there are options to take care of that here. So that was a hard one, but we are going to take another break and then come back and talk about what this year is going to look like for you as you become a father, and what that's going to look like as we navigate through those changes when you take some time off.
A home is more than a pile of bricks and shingles. It's where you trade out the tie for a sweatshirt. It's where you share a home-cooked meal with your loved ones. It's where you live. Here at Mount Carmel Farm Bureau Insurance, we know that. It's where you find great rates, where you find reliable agents, and the best service in Tennessee. Drop by our home at 415 Main Street East in Mount Carmel. Farm Bureau Insurance. Mount Carmel turns to us.
All right, Chase. So now it's time to talk about the not so fun stuff. You're going to be leaving us for a little bit this year. Probably for a few weeks, just temporarily. Don't freak out. Don't panic. But you and your wife, Courtney, have a wonderful new addition on the way. And I know everybody's excited to have a new baby to love on, but that is going to take some time away from volunteer, because you're going to obviously have to focus on that role at home. And so now you're going to have all these different hats to wear. You're going to be an AT, a husband, a father. What is this year going to look like for you is there a plan in place for when you go on leave over the winter, or is there discussion about that already on the table? Are you still going to be attending how is everybody going to, what should we expect to see?
For the most part is there's not a plan in place as of yet. It's kind of wait till closer to time.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess when it gets closer to time, then I will get things in order. I guess just to see how games are being aligned when it comes to that time. And then if, when I have in the past, when I've taken like a day or something, I always try to figure out, what's happening, who's practicing, and how's the injury situation going, who's injured, and, what part of the recovery process are they in. So all that will still go into effect with this one. But obviously I will take some time. There's this time coming up, it's very precious, and you don't get a lot of it you don't get none of it back once you miss it, obviously, but yeah, once that time comes, then obviously we'll cross that bridge when it gets here on how things will fall into place.
Do you think that it's going to be super difficult for you to navigate when you do come back, or do you think that the time that you've spent here has got you set up enough to where you'll be able to come back in and with a little adjustments, maybe a baby attached to your chest and a little carrier or whatever, but do you think that you're going to be able to still fulfill the role in the same capacity as what you are now? With that, I know Courtney does phenomenal already with supporting you, and I have no doubt that she will continue to do those things. But what do you see yourself post-baby? Do you see yourself being able to do the same thing that you are now?
Yeah, I do. I don't see anything changing other than, having a baby girl to take care of. But, I've always been able to so-called wear multiple hats at one time. So, it's just going to be a little change. It's not going to be nothing I don't think that I can't handle.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as that goes, no, I think everything will, as of right now, like I said, stuff can change, but as of right now, I think everything will continue as normal with just a little change in baby girl.
Well, I think you'll have a bunch of support. I've talked so many times about how the amount of support that we see within the community that we're in is phenomenal. I have no doubt if Courtney and the baby are coming to games, or if you have to step aside for a minute to come and take care of one of our kids here or something, that you're going to have people that are willing to step in and help you all, whether it's your all's family at home or the family that you have here. So I think it'll be a fun. We said the other day that there's a little bit of girl water or something going around the school, because there's been a lot of new baby girls and baby boys, but mostly baby girls introduced. So you'll have plenty of hand-me-downs and at least a lot of coaches that can give you guidance on what to prepare for what to expect as a girl dad. I do want to say that I'm very thankful for what you do for our school. I have got the pleasure of really getting to work a lot with both RAD and you, and I've got to see firsthand you experience some of those boring days and some of those not boring days, and it's gave me a different light and a different way to view every athletic trainer, but also just respect the game of sports more, no matter which one it is. I'm thankful that we have you here with us, and we have somebody who is dedicated to our kids, our community, and who is able to say that they fully support everything that we have going on here. So it's been fun actually getting to sit and talk to you today. We won't get this after starting next week when we've got, we'll have Monday, by the time this posts out, volleyball will have kicked off their season that Monday night before. Soccer will be the Tuesday that this comes out. Wednesday, we'll have golf away, so you might get a little break then, minus practices for everything. And then, of course, we get prepared for football to kick off on Friday, which will be when your busy really comes into play. So I'm glad that we done this, and I look forward to working with you this year.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning in with us today on Let's Talk. Let's Talk is brought to you by the support of Diamond Exchange of Kingsport, Farm Bureau of Mount Carmel, and Dairy Cup of Mount Carmel, in collaboration with VHS Broadcasting. You can find out more about Volunteer Sports Network, including previous episodes of Let's Talk, by visiting our website at vhssportsnetwork.com or finding us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or X. You can find all athletic schedules for the fall 2024 sports, including football, girls volleyball, girls soccer, golf, and cross country, listed on our website. If you would like for your business to be a part of the Volunteer Sports Network, please reach out to President Hannah Sawyer at 423-754-6528 or by emailing us at vhssportsnetwork@gmail.com. Volunteer Sports Network is a nonprofit organization that provides opportunities to those in and around Volunteer High School. Volunteer Sports Network is not owned or operated by Volunteer High School.